Hi there! If you are watching this video, you're interested in the After Effects software and the effects it suggests. This huge number of effects allows us to create incredibly beautiful animations that look like they are out of this world. Today I would like to introduce you to 5 built-in effects that may not be as well known but are worth knowing. The first effect is a glare that can be created on any surface. To demonstrate this, let's take the example of PNG jewelry. Now we see a fairly realistic strip of light on our jewelry. To make the strip softer, replace the shape parameter with a smooth one. Let's even change the color to a more sunny one. You can play with the parameters in the effect, for example, increase the intensity. You can also adjust the angle of the incident light. Let's set it to 30 degrees. Now let's animate the light. First click on this key at the beginning of the composition. So I will move a little to the left. It's important that it is behind the object. Let's fast forward to 1 second from now and move the strip to the right. Let's highlight the keys we need and press F9 and pull the yellow dots to ensure that the quickest moment is in the center of the animation. That's how beautiful it turned out, but I want to demonstrate this effect can also look stunning on the Google logo. But the most interesting thing is how this effect falls on the text. I've added an effect to the text and the glow isn't available at all. To see this, you will need to change the following parameter. But the animation would be more interesting if you choose the third option. Look how unusual it is. Now let's put the keys, and just like in the first example, select the keys and press F9 to move the yellow dots to the center. It looks beautiful, and there are several projects where this effect could greatly improve the overall look. So the second effect is called Liquify. Let's not wait any longer. I have created a text that is a very dark pink color. I will center the text and apply a Liquify effect to it. Click on the finger icon. In the settings, we can slightly reduce the brush size and increase the pressure. Now let's pull the text from below. Let's increase the size slightly and stretch the text this way. Now I want to animate this text. Make sure the slider is set for 1 second and adjust this key to 100. Rewind to the start and set it to 0. It looks cool, but let's change the graphic of keys. In my opinion, this looks more interesting. So we move on to the next effect, which is known as Venetian Blinds. To demonstrate how it works, I have found a PNG photo of an older CD and a more recent episode of the Jimmy Fallon show. In order to add some age to the video, we applied the Venetian Blinds effect to it. Now move the slider and black bars appear on the video. We can change the direction, width and feather of these stripes. But to achieve the best possible effect, let's minimize these lines as much as we can so they are barely visible. It turns out an interesting effect of an old CD. I can also add a tint to make it a pale purple to enhance the atmosphere. I want to show you how this effect can be applied to text. I create a text and apply an effect to it when I make a few minor changes to the settings to get small stripes. This text looks pretty nice, but I will duplicate the effect. I will change the direction by 0 degrees. Let's make an animation. At the 0 second, we set the first effect to 92%. After that, we rewind by the first second and return to 0. When we rewind again for another second and set the effect back to 92%. For the second effect, we will put the keys in reverse. I noticed that I had accidentally changed the direction by 90 degrees. Let's return it back to 0. and see what kind of text animation you can create. First second, the text takes the form of squares, and at 0 and second seconds, it takes the form of horizontal lines. Also, with the Venetian Blinds, you can create a linear background if you use it on solid. For example, if you increase these values, you may achieve a sunny background with small points. The next effect I want to show you is called Pixel Motion Blur. To better understand how it works, I will show you a first-person video that was shot using a GoPro. It's quite exciting, but let's apply our effect to it and see how it changes. I will now increase slightly the shutter angle, and you can see that there is some motion blur on the sides of the video. For comparison, here's what the video would look like without the effect. Turn it back on, and this blur really improves the picture. And finally, I have placed two effects at the end, Displacement Map and Turbulence Displace. And now I will show you what they can do to your video. I've prepared a video sequence. The rig opens a portal and a monster climbs out of it. So let's make the effect of monster's appearance more powerful in some way. To do this, we will need an explosion overlay. I will cut it off before the explosion begins. Now we create an adjustment layer on which we apply the displacement map effect. After that, I create a pre-compose with just an explosion video. And what is important now is to make the explosion look black and white with very strong contrast. To do this, we add two effects. First, tint, which will make the explosion black and white, and curves. You can use them to increase the contrast. Great, now in the displacement map settings you need to select the layer with an explosion as the source. And as we can see, a shock wave started to form around the portal. To compare, what would the video without the effect looks like, and with effect. Now let's move the point of explosion a little closer to the location of the portal. To increase the effect, you can also use Distort Chroma, let's find it, and reduce the amount. This effect is not very noticeable to the eye, but if you look closely, you can see how realistic the exit of the monster we have made. Now I'd like to show you how to use Displacement Map and the Turbulence display to create this animation with cyclical text. I have already created solid and printed the text. The next step is to create a pre-compose from the text. Double click on it, and now we need to adjust the length of this composition to match the length of the text. As we can see, this width is not enough, so we will increase it a little more. It's good now. And so let's put the CC cylinder effect on the text. I will adjust the rotation settings to ensure the text is displayed in a pleasant manner. Now, holding down Alt, click on the keyframe on the rotation Y parameter. I will write a command to multiply the time by 10. In this way, the text will spin. Now we apply the displacement map effect to the text. Let's increase this parameter so that the horizontal displacement is more powerful. And vertically we will reduce it to 0. I really like this kind of smoke, so I'm cutting this stereo and I create a pre-compose of this smoke. As you might have already guessed, we will be using this smoke effect as an explosion in the last video featuring Rick and Morty. Therefore, we also apply the tint and curves effects to it. Please note that in the Mode tab, text should be added, not as normal. Now we indicate our smoke as a source in the displacement map. We can see the effect it creates, but I want to make it softer. So we add a fastbox blur to the smoke and set the radius, for example, to 4. Now it is not as sharp as it used to be. So work with the following effects calmly. You need to create an adjustment layer. Next, we'll look for the turbulence display effect and apply it to the adjustment layer. It creates such a beautiful distortion. I will reduce the amount a little. Let's make that one half of the text has this effect and the other half doesn't. To do this, we will create a mask on the adjustment layer, let it go like this, but at the edge of the mask it is very clearly visible. Choose an adjustment layer and click F key and decrease the feather effect to about 100. That's great. We can also add some blurring to this part of the text. The result is a unique animation that can be used in various ways, such as in montage and for logo animation. The displacement map and the turbulent display play an important role in this animation. Do not forget that I have left the materials for this video on Google Drive, the link to which is included in the pinned comments. I'm grateful that you stayed until the end of the video, and if you enjoyed it, I would appreciate it if you could leave a comment. It's really nice to receive feedback from viewers. See you soon.